Imagine yourself as a well-to-do citizen in the early 1800s with a fascination of Egyptian culture, science, and the macabre. Are you looking for a fascinating evening that combines all of these interests? If so, you may want to attend a mummy unwrapping party. And you're in luck. We are hosting one now. Hey Wanderers, welcome back to another Foolish Wanderers podcast, the podcast about anything and everything. It's Spooktober. We're starting a little bit early because I was excited for the spookiness.
Once the pumpkin spice whatever craze starts,
Yeah.
that's when Spooktober starts.
Yeah, exactly. It starts whenever the spooky season is, and that's all the time, and I love it. But today, we're kicking things off with mummy unwrapping parties. Which, if you are triggered by anything like slightly like grossed out by human anatomy or anything, you might want to skip this episode because we're gonna be talking about different things like that in like cannibalistic medicine a little bit.
Oh.
So, so this might not be the most tame episode for you, but if you're interested, please stick around. So yeah, alrighty. So how did this start? So Egyptomania, or mummy mania, was a period of intense interest in ancient Egypt during the 19th century or the 1800s, and Europeans had been buying mummies since the time of Shakespeare. So basically, Victorian-era England was obsessed with like the macabre, like things like, I don't know if you've seen like the pictures of like, I forget what they call them, but basically you would take photos with your relatives or friends that have passed and they'd like prop their bodies up so it looked like they were still alive.
Oh my god.
I forget what they called them, but it was like a memento, like your last picture. They did it with like babies and like adults, and it's weird. If you look at some old photos, especially from like the Victorian era, if you see one person that's like blurry and one person that's completely still, it's because the person that's still was not alive.
It's because it took like 8 to 10 minutes to take a photo, right? One
Yeah.
photo, 8
Yeah,
to 10 minutes for an exposure, right?
Yeah, that's why you didn't smile, because
No,
your mouth would be tired.
Yeah, because you'd just be telling yourself, don't blink, stand still until the exposure was complete.
Yep, yeah. We're very lucky now with how fast it is.
Instantaneous in your
Mhm.
in your hand, in your phone,
Yeah.
in your cell phone.
Yep.
And don't Apple Watches have little cameras too or something?
They might. I don't have one, so I don't know, but they
I don't
might.
have one either. I just have like a the most basic Fitbit you could get.
There you go.
That's
I'm
all I
thinking about
want.
getting one. Yeah.
That's all I
Track
want.
your steps.
That's all you need.
Mhm.
You don't need to. It doesn't need to count how many glasses of water you have or what you're whatever, sleeping and all this other stuff it can do. And
You don't want to answer emails on your watch?
nah.
Fair enough. All right, so getting back to buying mummies for medicine. So people used to use them as medicine, a pigment for paints, or even charms. That's right, people used to consume human remains for medicine. And we're going to kind of divulge from mummy unwrapping parties into this cannibalistic medicine real quick, and then we'll get back to the mummies.
Oh my god. All
So this might be, if you're squeamish, you might want to skip forward.
This is quite like the offshoot.
It is kind of, but it was like in the same article of like
Oh
one
my
of the
God.
resources.
Sure.
So it's like, oh, that's actually really interesting. So that'll be a whole different episode. We'll get more into this stuff, but I just kind of wanted to scratch the surface. And
What do you
then-
mean by charms though?
I think they'd have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure like they'd use like the what is it? Like the little sigils and stuff they'd have like in their wrappings, like the mummy's wrappings, like the little charms or things. They would take them and decorate with them, and people used to make like like trinkets. Like now we have trinkets of stuff. They do that and like sell them in gift shops and stuff.
Oh man.
I'm not sure if they actually took like body parts, like actual body parts, and used them as like keychains, like a rabbit's foot.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it was
have.
like a mummy's lucky, like a rabbit's foot. It was like a mummy rabbit
Mummy
for
toe.
Yeah, mummy toe.
They might have. I wouldn't put it past them.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So for several hundred years, peaking in the 16th and 17th centuries, so this is before like the mummy unwrapping party saga. So back in the 16th and 17th centuries, many Europeans, including royalty, priests, and scientists, routinely ingested remedies containing human bones, blood, and fat as medicine for everything from headaches to epilepsy. So there were a few vocal opponents for practice, even though cannibalism in the newly explored America was reviled as a mark of savagery. Mummies were stolen from Egyptian tombs, and skulls were taken from Irish burial sites, and grave diggers robbed and stole body parts. So it wasn't just like Egyptian mummies that were used for medicines, it was basically
Everything.
like
Anything that they could sell, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Anything you could get your hands on, you wouldn't get yelled at taking. Yeah, they ate it.
And who's like buying these body parts? Grave
well,
diggers are grabbing
yeah.
body parts, but who's like buying them?
I'm pretty sure like scientists and like medicine makers,
It's like the
behind the scenes.
Frankenstein thing, like
Yeah.
like Mary Shelley Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Exactly where I meant medicine from. Yeah. So the question was not, should you eat human flesh, but what sort of flesh should you eat? So the answer at first was Egyptian mummy, which is crumbled up into tinctures to stanch internal bleeding or to stop internal bleeding.
But why?
I don't know. Like, people didn't know a lot about medicine back then, but this is like
they knew nothing.
This is a lot.
but like, yeah. I just want to know like the reasoning that one would have to think that ingesting a crumbly mummy would help get rid of your internal bleeding, you know?
So we'll get kind of into like how they believe like the spirit was involved too, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how they figured like internal bleeding, mummy flesh.
Yeah, like
I don't know.
Crummy mummy, like the crumbs of his mummy, internal bleeding, it will fix it.
It's a delicious cookie. Eat it. Okay. But other parts of the body were soon followed. Skull was one common ingredient taken in powdered form to cure head ailments, which kind of makes sense because you're like, crumble up skull, head ailment,
what?
Same body part.
No.
Thomas Boyles, a 17th century pioneer of brain science, he brewed a drink for bleeding that mingled powdered human skull and chocolate. So hot chocolate with human skull. Yum. That's what I want for Halloween.
Oh my gosh.
And King Charles II of England sipped on, quote, the King's Drops, his personal tincture, containing human skull and alcohol. So he just dropped
was it like
alcohol.
his ancestors crushed up skulls that
I don't know. They did. Okay, so this I didn't have in the the research a little bit that I found, but like I don't remember if it was just royalty or if it's anybody, but like there was a time during this period where people would go to like people that were decomposing in tombs, right? And there'd be like you're decomposing liquids. People would bottle that and drink it.
Yeah, that's another level.
Yep.
That's another level.
I don't remember if it was like anyone or just royalty, but that was a thing that they did. They drank.
I bet it was royalty.
Yeah. Give me some of your...
I bet it was like upper class and royalty.
Yeah. Delicious.
Oh my god, alright.
Even the toupee of moss that grew over a buried skull, called unsne, became a prized additive. So like the moss that grew on your skull after you died. That was a thing. So if you think of Beetlejuice, yeah. Kendra is just shocked in horror. It is great.
I mean, I really shouldn't be because like they didn't take regular baths. Like they would take like a bath a month.
Yeah.
They were just burying themselves in perfumes and oils to like cover up the stench.
They were pheromone maxing.
They thought it was like disgusting to take a bath.
Yeah, they thought it was bad for you.
Yeah, they thought it was bad for you to take a bath. Like it was going to kill you. Like it was bad for your health to take a bath. So I guess I don't know. I think I'm just like shocked that you would want. I don't know. The moss that grows over your brain or your skull is going to be a delicacy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
You could make so many morbid jokes, and I don't think this is a good time for it.
It's not. It's not.
Okay, so
messed up.
The purpose of this moss was used, so basically they ground it to a powder, and it was believed to cure nosebleeds and possibly epilepsy.
What?
I don't know. I just wait till my nosebleeds go away.
I would too.
Yes. I don't want that. Thanks, though. Human fat, this is the most disgusting one for me.
Nope.
Was used to treat the outside of the body. German doctors, for instance, prescribed bandages soaked in it for wounds.
Oh my gosh.
And rubbing fat into the skin was considered a remedy for gout. Just rubbing in that moisture.
Nope. Let's just move on. Okay?
Okay. Move on to blood.
Oh.
So blood was procured as fresh as possible.
Jesus.
while it was still thought to contain the vitality of the body. This made it challenging to acquire. Yeah, okay. The 16th century German Swiss physician Paracelsus believed blood was good for drinking, and one of his followers even suggested taking blood from a living body. While that doesn't seem to have been common practice, the poor, who couldn't always afford the processed compounds sold in apothecaries, would gain the benefits of cannibal medicine by standing by at executions, paying a small amount for a cup of the still warm blood of the condemned.
Oh.
The executioner, in fact, was considered a big healer in Germanic countries. He was a social leper with almost magical powers. For those who preferred their blood cooked, a 1679 recipe from a Franciscan apothecary describes how to make it into marmalade. Blood marmalade.
But, like, they've got blood sausage over there, and I know it's not made with human, but, you know.
Yeah, I'd try, like,
no.
I think, isn't it pig's blood that they use for
Yeah.
blood sausage?
Heck,
I'd try
no.
it.
Nope, nope.
If they fried it up, I'd probably try it.
Nope. Couldn't pay me. Nope. I mean, you could pay me.
I give you $10.
Nope.
Okay.
It's gotta be more.
Paid
50.
$10.
50, I'll take a bite. 100, I will
$50.
eat the whole thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Tough bargain.
That's how much I can't get over the fact of eating, like, blood in sausage form.
Coagulated. Mm.
Oh, I hate that word. I was gonna pass out right here. I'm taking a nap.
Okay, so another reason human remains were considered potent was because they were thought to contain the spirit of the body from which they were taken. Spirit was considered a very real part of physiology, linking the body and the soul. In this context, blood was especially powerful. They thought that the blood carried the soul, and it did so in the form of vaporous spirits. The freshest blood was considered the most robust. Sometimes the blood of young men was preferred. Sometimes that of virgin young women.
What?
It was thought that by ingesting these corpus materials, one gains the strength of the person consumed.
This just sounds like vampire stuff.
Mm-hmm.
This sounds like Dracula.
Yep. Yeah, it does. It's very gross.
This is just weird.
So the idea wasn't new to the Renaissance. It was just newly popular. Romans drank the blood of slain gladiators to absorb the vitality of strong men. And then 15th century philosopher Marcello Finco suggested that drinking blood from the arm of a young person for similar reasons. I also heard that, like, they bought, in, like, ancient Roman times, they bought sweat off gladiators, kind of like the same thing. It was like a aphrodisiac and also, like, was supposed to, like, give you their strength. I don't know. They were weird.
They died very young. I don't know.
Yeah, it's very brutal. Yeah. I don't think you want what they have.
I don't think you don't want what they had. No. Yeah, everybody's like, what was the TikTok trend? It was that they were obsessed with ancient Rome or thought about it a lot. Like, yeah, you don't want what they had. You don't want it.
No, not anymore.
Yeah, you don't want it. Stinky. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they drank wine all the time, guys. It'd be fun. No, they drank like watered down wine.
Yeah, because they couldn't drink pure water.
Communion wine.
Grape juice.
Yeah, grape juice. It wasn't fun. It wasn't a good time. You don't want to be there. No dentists. You don't want to be there.
Yeah.
Bye.
No thanks. All right, now back to your regularly scheduled programs of mummy unwrappings.
Oh my god, I forgot you were even talking about that. You've been talking about coagulated and marmalade blood.
Marmalade right on your toast. Yum. Alright, so the renewed surge of the fascination with Egypt and Egyptian mummies began again in 1798 with the launch of Napoleon's campaigns in Egypt and Syria. So Napoleon's campaigns were aimed to increase trade, develop new alliances, and further scientific innovation. It was on this expedition that they discovered the Rosetta Stone.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either. It's interesting. I didn't realize it was that long ago that they found it.
I didn't either. I mean, it is good that Napoleon was like, we really need to further scientific innovation because, you know, we're spreading blood marmalade on our toast and eating people's skulls. Like,
we're rubbing fat into our skin to cure gout.
Yeah, they really needed to go there.
We're drinking the remains of people who just died.
Oh my god.
Okay, moving on. So not long after, Europe began to see a massive increase in the interest of Egyptian aesthetics and in its culture and design. The exotic nature of Egypt consumed Western thought, revealing itself through literature, art, and culture. This included mummy unwrapping parties. This new fascination with Egyptian culture was later called mummy mania. Little tongue twister.
Mummy mania. Have you seen I don't know the photo, but that one, it's like a Egyptian, not Egyptian. It's a old English guy from like Victorian age, and he's getting his photo done, and he's dressed up like he's in a sarcophagus, but he's alive.
I don't think I've seen that, no.
He's got like a full-on handlebar mustache. It's
Okay, I'm
really
gonna Google
weird.
that.
It's really weird.
He's just like chilling in a sarcophagus.
Yeah, he's like not laying in the sarcophagus, but you know when you're a little kid and you go to some sort of like maybe I don't know side touristy area and there might be a Yogi Bear billboard thing with the hole cut out and you can put your head in there and be like, I'm Yogi Bear, look at me, take up my photo, mommy. It's not,
Yeah.
it's kind of like that. So has his face dressed up like looking through like he's in a sarcophagus, but you know he's not. Kind of
Oh,
like that.
weird. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that, but it's not coming up when I Google it right away, so I'll have to find it later.
Well, darn.
Did you find it?
No.
Oh.
I'm gonna be searching for it. I'm gonna find it at like 2 o'clock in the morning tonight and be like,
Probably.
aha! There it is. Now I can rest.
Yes. Oh, delightful. Okay, so the Victorians let their fascination with Egypt and its mysterious/ornate rituals, they let they cloud their judgment, especially when it came to mummy unwrapping. So a form of entertainment for the Victorians was a complete desecration of Egypt, its people, and their ancestors. At the time, anyone who could afford to travel to Egypt could afford to buy a mummy, although it took a trained individual to unwrap it. So Thomas Pettigrew was one of these, quote, trained and wealthy individuals. Pettigrew was a surgeon, antiquary, and author, as well as a well-known unroller, is what they called them.
A what?
Unroller of
An
mummies.
unroller?
Unroller of mummies. So like unwrapping.
I just picture with the phrase unroller is when you get a new rug or like like sod and you just kind of like kick it and it unrolls, like unravels.
Yep.
Do you think that's what they did with the mummies?
I mean, I'm sure someone did at one point. I'm sure that's probably someone. That's not like what these parties did. Not like with like the well-documented ones, but I wouldn't put it past someone to do something messed up like that. But yeah. So combining science with spectacle, Pettigrew would host private parties where he would unwrap and perform autopsies on the mummies. As a friend to many artists and authors, including Charles Dickens, he also knew how to spin scientific theory into a fantastic spectacle. While he was not the first to unroll a mummy in front of an audience, he was one of the first to turn the procedure into a performance. The recipe was guaranteed to succeed. Mixing Egypt, science, and the macabre proved irresistible to the Victorians. These were the same people who thought it was vulgar to take off their gloves in mixed company. So like, they wouldn't take off the gloves, but like they would unwrap a whole person.
It's like it seems that as long as it's a performance or a dinner party type thing to them, they're like, it's fine.
Yeah, basically.
It's fine to desecrate a body. It's fine.
Yep, yeah.
As long as there's a performance and there's a cheese tray, we're fine. We're good.
Ooh, the fancy cheese tray.
Yep.
But must eat with gloves on with a tiny toothpick.
With a tiny toothpick. It reminds me a lot of how was it Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was like that era, late 1800s. They're super in early 1900s. They're super into those what the heck are those called? The seance parties.
Yep.
Like it's a dinner party too, but they're gonna like it
talk
kind
to
of
your dead.
Yep, talk to the dead. It kind of sounds like that, but desecrating of like you get in a roller.
It's like the same theme.
Same theme. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Same theme.
Yeah. Those same vibes.
Same vibes. Just
these might be a little bit worse than
this
just
is worse.
This is worse. Just a little bit.
This is a lot worse.
Yeah.
They're just like rich people going to Egypt and then just buying a bunch of mummies and then bringing them back and being like, look at what I got on my summer vacation.
Yeah. A whole person.
A whole person.
Great, Johnny. Thanks.
Really weird.
It is. If you think about it, it's really weird.
It's really weird.
Yeah. So while Pettigrew made these parties a spectacle, it is generally believed that the first unwrapping public event was conducted by archaeologist Giovanni Belzoni. He lived between 1778 and 1823. That's when he died. So in 1821, he unwrapped a cadaver in the Piccadilly Circus to a reported audience of thousands, known as the Great Belzoni. Giovanni was a prominent Italian explorer with a taste for showmanship, aided by his former career as a circus strongman. So he was a strongman, and then he went and traveled the world and came back with mummies.
Career change.
A little bit, yeah. So he kicked off the era of mummy desecration with his own discoveries in Egypt. So most notably, his unearthing of the mummy at Sematicus. If you Google pictures of these mummy wrapping parties, basically it's just a bunch of like wealthy Victorian-era people standing around. It's kind of like a makeshift table, like on some sawhorses and just like a slab of wood. It's
Yeah.
not great.
I mean, I was picturing it just boom on the dining room table.
I think they did do that sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
Some people did. Originally, we'll get into a little bit too more of the history, but originally it was like just like in museums and like the showrooms, like the medical showroom things where they do like the surgeries and stuff. But yeah, no, they eventually went into just people's houses where they'd just be like, let's get a mummy. And they just had
Oh
dinner
no.
and yep, that was a thing.
You know what our Christmas party needs, George? Our Christmas party needs a mummy unwrapping party.
That is horrifying.
Yep.
Okay. So Belzoni was said to have popularized the exhibition at the Egyptian Hall with a mummy unwrapping party, wrapping himself in bandages to welcome the guests. So like when he first opened up this,
What?
he did it like his first or one of his first unwrapping parties at like this exhibition. He wrapped himself up to look like a mummy, like wrapped like a mummy to
Like
like welcome
using
people.
the used bandages or like
I think he
fresh?
had new ones.
Okay, I hope so.
I don't know, but I think he had new ones. I
Okay.
hope so.
All right.
Yeah. So before the cadaver was brought out, he would like welcome people dressed up like a mummy, basically. So assisting Belzoni in his first unwrapping was the surgeon Thomas Pettigrew. Pettigrew took the idea of making a show out of the mummy unwrapping and ran with it for years to come. Although some of these later mummy parties may have been snatched from English burial grounds under cover of darkness rather than Egyptian tombs. So people would like fake make like, getting mummies and just get like random people from wherever they could and pass it off as Egyptian mummies. Yep.
I mean, I'm not surprised, right?
No, I'm
Grave
not
dig-
either.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not either. So, advertised as an event for medical professionals, Belzoni's biographer regarded it as a shrewdly aimed advertisement, calculated to bring in a large body of professional men. So, following its unraveling, Belzoni's mummy was displayed alongside a motley collection of Egyptian artifacts at the Egyptian Hall. So it's kind of like what museums still do today, or at least like they used to do. Like they unwrap the mummy and then have the mummy on display along with like all their possessions they found inside the sarcophagus and like in their wrappings and stuff. I remember, I think it was in middle school, we went to like a science museum and they had a mummy. It was one of the weirdest things. I felt so wrong looking at him. I felt so bad.
I like it.
Do you? Okay. I don't know. I just like, I don't know. I just feel like if you look at their eyes or like the face too long, you're going to get cursed.
Oh, don't do that. But
No.
don't do that.
Mm.
But
Yeah, it's a little weird. Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm a history nerd.
Yeah.
There's parts of it that I like. I definitely think that if like the issue with the British Museum with Egypt, not giving back certain things that they took from Egypt, right? And Egypt wants it back for their display. I think they should give it back.
They should give it back. Yeah.
And I used the word or the phrase I know probably like 20 times in that last 30 seconds.
I use like and all the time. And when I'm like
Same.
editing, it's like, oh, there it is again.
There it is again. But it's a sensitive subject, so
it is. Yeah.
I'm gonna dance around that 5, more times.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. So Victorian Englishmen were not the only ones to be enthralled in this macabre romance with mummies. In his books, The Romance of a Mummy and Egypt, French author Théophile Gautier describes one mummy unrolling that took place in the exhibition of 1857. So according to Gautier, there was, of course, a storm raging outside the Anthropology Museum, where the unrolling took place. So he's like painting a dark and stormy night.
The curse of the pharaoh or something, right?
Yep.
Mystical. Yeah.
So Nescons was the woman to be de-mummified. She was placed in a contraption that made it seem like she was dancing as her bandages unraveled around her. So like they made it even more like a spectacle, which is worse. It's a lot worse. Slowly, as the linens were removed, a number of funerary jewels were revealed on her person. Even though he is touched by the addition of the new colorless but perfectly preserved flowers underneath the woman's armpits, he also does not fail to point out that the, quote, beautiful microscopic hawk in her necklace would make for a lovely watch charm. So, like, he kind of dances around, like, making it...
He romanticizes this very weird thing about a dead body.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just what... We just do that all the time with anything.
Yeah,
like, right now, right now, what's the latest trend for that author Colleen is it Hooper? What the heck's her name? Colleen Hooper, Colleen something. It's not coming to mind. But that movie that is based off of her book, they're under fire for romanticizing, DV.
Oh, was that the one with Blake Lively in it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like that's all that whole and her press tour, that whole thing, that's being under fire for romanticizing the whole thing. So I mean,
Yeah.
we've been doing that for hundreds of years. Whether
Yeah, it's just looking back on it, it's really telling and weird.
In 5 years from now, we'll look back. Yeah, that's just
Yep. So demand for mummies at this time was so high that the fledgling tourist industry in Egypt transported mummies from the least visited places of the country to place them into their more popular ruins in order to satisfy foreign visitors.
Anything to make a buck.
Yep.
Anything to make a buck.
Yep.
Did you ever watch was it Anthony Bourdain's TV show?
Every once in a while. I wasn't really a fan of him, but every once in a while, yeah.
All right. I liked his stuff. I don't like I liked the No Reservations. That was pretty good. But one of the episodes from No Reservations, he's in Sicily, I believe it was, and he was going to go fishing for this octopus to make it into like a meal, right? That was kind of like the thing. Fishing for this octopus in one of the oceans in Sicily. So they're on a boat with this guy, and Anthony Bourdain's prepared. He's getting himself prepared with the spear thing and his goggles and his flippers, right? He's getting ready to get into the water to hunt these the octopi down to kill it, right? And his captain guy who's lured him aboard, being like, we're gonna get this octopus, but there's so many, I'll bring you whatever. He's already in the ocean. Well, the camera guys and Anthony Bourdain notice that the captain has thrown a dead octopus body overboard, and it has sunk to the bottom of the ocean, like the coral where they are. And they notice that. And then the captain comes back up from, swimming underneath the water, and he comes back up. He's like, look, there's an octopus right there.
That's dangerous too. Like if you're going to eat that, that's really dangerous.
Yeah, but it's all to make a buck. It's all for the tourist experience of being like, I caught this thing, the octopus in the water of Sicily, and I'm gonna eat it.
Oh, that's so weird.
It's just people do the craziest things to try to make money, right?
Yeah.
Like now they're like what you're saying in the stories, they're moving the mummies to more popular locations and
yeah,
to make it more appealing. Yeah, just anything to make a buck.
Yep. Oh goodness, humans are wonderful.
No, anything to make a buck. Grab your florals and grab your girlfriends as we go see the movie. It ends with us.
No, I'm not gonna watch
Grab your best girlfriends. Did you see Did you see the TikTok where was it you that sent me that? The TikTok of somebody was making fun of that line, and they were like 1940s Germany. Grab your... I gotta find it.
I don't think I sent you that.
It was horrible. It was horribly funny. It was horribly funny.
Know.
It was like the burning of the volcano explosion of Pompeii. Grab your wine and grab your girlfriends and go watch the volcano of Pompeii blow up and murder everybody. It was... Yeah.
I don't remember if I sent you that one or not.
It was a viral TikTok. It was really, really funny.
Oh no.
They did just horrible things over the years, historical events, and tried to spin it, like how Blake Lively spun that her promo for the dark movie. Yeah.
Oh man.
Anything for a buck.
Yep. Moral of the story.
Anything for a buck.
Yep. So not the first to conduct a mummy wrapping party, Surgeon Thomas Pettigrew would popularize the format by performing a mummy unwrapping at the Royal College of Surgeons in 1834, with a series of unwrappings gaining him the nickname Mummy Pettigrew. According to the old operating theater museum, the mummy unwrappings usually had the same format. The body was presented on a table surrounded by the symbols of Egypt, including funerary hieroglyphics, and the lecture was given. The enrolling itself, for Pettigrew's initial events at least, involved the separating of the different layers of bandaging, removing the amulets from their layers as progress was made, so eventually revealing the body itself. An examination would be made of it, working on its situation as the unrolling progressed and observing things about it, such as the body decorations, presence of hair, pliability of skin and guessing the ethnicity. So one of Pettigrew's goals with the unwrappings was to prove through cranial measurements that the ancient Egyptians were actually Caucasian and not
Huh?
of African origin.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know if
Something
they thought there was just like
racist,
two.
something racist. It's
Oh
something
yeah,
racist. It's definitely something racist.
absolutely.
Oh my
I don't know.
god.
Like, there's more than just two races, but yep. So he was just measuring their skulls. Yep. So even though not every unrolling went according to plan, at one point the bandages had fused with the body. At another, a mummy was found to have the skull filled with sand, and there was even a tale of a princess who turned out to be a man. His fame grew, and he was the founding treasure of the British Archaeological Society.
Not surprised.
Oh.
But alright.
So the Duke of Hamilton was so appreciative of his work that he asked Pettigrew to mummify his own corpse after his death. Pettigrew obliged, and in 1852, the Duke was interred in the sarcophagus of a nameless princess which he had acquired years earlier in France, supposedly with the intention of donating it to the British Museum. So they literally took this princess's sarcophagus and stuffed
Oh
him in there.
my gosh.
He's still buried in it. Like the last, like
Nobody's, like, made us really?
no, yeah, no,
Nobody's like,
he's
"Maybe you should, I don't know,
taking him
dump his
out
body up and put it in, like, his,
like a
alright.
boat. I don't know.
Something else, pine coffin, yeah, alright,
Yeah.
that's messed up.
Yeah, no, they just did what it yeah, he was like, "I'm the king, bury
I'm a
me in the
duke." No, he's a
sarcophagus."
duke. "I'm a duke, I got
Yeah,
money."
yeah, yep. So he's still in it as far as I know, like, I think it was in 2014, like, they're like, "Yeah, he's still in it." I don't know. So, however, while Pettigrew may have popularized unwrappings, a have-a-go attitude developed very quickly. The fanciest dinner parties would host their own events, presumably after dinner, where bandages would be unwrapped and bones would be exposed, all in the comfort of your own living room. These affairs were far from the origins of the operating theater and were often very rowdy and boozy affairs.
Ooh, they're exposing bones in the
Yep.
in the
Imagine you get your pineapple, your expensive fruit, and you got your mummy on the table. You're just having a grand old party.
rich people are just, like, weird in
Very
general. They're
weird.
so weird.
Because
Like,
they
what
don't know
else
what
is
to do.
there because they don't have any, like, issues.
No, they don't have any, like, yeah, they just spend money.
There's not really, like, that many worries. Like, your worries become less, and
Mhm.
granted, they probably still have things that they have to deal with and blah, 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 blah. Insert, like, some sort of sappy thing and
Yeah.
blah, 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 but, you know.
But you didn't have to, like, desecrate a body. You could just, yeah. So eventually, towards the end of the century, mummy unrollings fell out of favor with the scientific community as the idea of preserving ancient cultures rose in popularity. Egyptomania became more of a collectomania with the discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb. A little more respect for Egypt's remaining history emerged following these archaeological expeditions.
But just think about how many items and things that they've ruined.
Oh, absolutely. Like, it just threw away or just, like, bodies were discarded.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's messed up.
I like that, that basically how you worded it. You said, "Eventually, towards the end of the century, mummy unrollings fell out of favor with the scientific community as the idea of preserving
Yeah.
ancient cultures rose in popularity." That's funny to me. It's just
Really?
yeah, because, like, rewording it in my head, I'm thinking, like, "Oh, like, the scientific community just, I don't know, got some empathy and was like, maybe it's a good idea that we don't destroy these different countries' cultures, ancient
Yeah, maybe we
cultures.
should
We
actually
gotta
preserve it.
preserve it." Is that a
For
wild thought, or
person.
is that just, like
That's too radical.
it's too radical of an idea?
Oh goodness. I'm trying to find it, but so like there was like I'm pretty sure it was a skeleton of like a king that was sold as like a fake. It's not like a mummy, but it's kind of on the same line. Like his skeleton was sold as like a fake Halloween prop, but then they
Mhm.
actually found it in like a flea market.
I think
Have you heard
that sounds
that
familiar.
one? Okay, because I'm trying to remember which one that was.
We covered on the show before that, the mummy Ramesses had to have a passport made for him to go somewhere, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Like
Yeah, I don't
episode.
remember what episode, but
It was back when I still did Instagram posts.
I
So
think
it's a
yes,
while
yes,
ago.
that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. That's a lot of work. I don't remember which one that was. Because all I'm getting right now is like King Richard III's skeleton found in a parking lot, but that's not the one that I'm
That's not
talking
the
about.
one. I think I
No.
remember the one you're talking about.
Okay. It wasn't that long ago either that they found it. Like realized that like, oh, this is a royal person. Oh, oh no. that's horrifying. Can you send me that? I'm gonna make that as, like, the cover of this
Yeah.
episode.
I think it's from the 20s, though. I don't think it's because I don't think it's the Victorian era, this photo with the guy.
Okay.
I found the photo of the guy dressed up as a sarcophagus.
I mean, it looks good,
He
but
looks miserable.
that's
Isn't that funny? They didn't smile back then?
well, it couldn't. Otherwise,
They
you're
didn't
like,
have
you get, like, a
teeth.
weird, like, your
Didn't
cheek
have teeth.
muscles would be so strong if you could smile for, like, 10 minutes,
You
like,
look like
perfectly
that
still.
Chad, the Giga Chad meme, where like with the the
Oh, the
guy
big
with
chin.
the big chin.
Have you heard of mewing? I hate
I
it.
do it.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
I hate when people draw it. Like, my sister did like, a project for her science class where they were supposed to,
Mhm.
like, draw, like, planets or something. Someone did, like, a mewing one. I was like, "No, no." It's like, oh, it's so cringy. I don't like it.
I'm doing it now.
Have you noticed a difference, though?
Hell no.
Okay.
But you know me. I was drinking chlorophyll not that long ago in water.
Chlorophyll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything for your skin.
Probably not,
I
no.
get into a lot of things with the skin.
Hmm.
Like just like like any like dumb. I mean, I know it's dumb in the back of my head and deep down in my soul, but part of me is just kind of like maybe there might be a
I guess, like, with, like, all the trends, like, the health trends and stuff, like, to me, it's like, if it's still going after, like, 10 years, maybe there's some truth to it, but, like, I'm not gonna jump on it and buy all these, like, expensive mixes and stuff to
It's my hobby. Lotions and potions.
Alright, Wanderers, thank you so much for joining us for our first episode of Spooktober 2024. We hope you enjoyed and weren't too grossed out by our little detour and morbid facts. So if you have any suggestions for any future episodes, even like spookier themes for Spooktober, please let us know at our email at fwplisteners@gmail.com.
And as always, new episodes of the FWP are released to wherever you get your podcast from, including this place that you are listening to right now.
Yes. Alright, Wanderers, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next time.
For Spooktober 2024.
Spooktober! Woo! Do you still use that clay mask that you used in college?
Which one? I've
I
done so
forget what it's
many.
called.
The Aztec one?
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
clay
still do
one,
that.
yeah.
Still do it.
Yeah. Does it work?
Yes, but you see, this is the problem, is that I've seen where you're supposed to use it every day for 3 days, and then other
Mhm.
people I've seen bloggers, like, every day for a week, and then some
Mm,
people are like, "What the heck are you doing? That's gonna mess up your skin." It's once a week for a month, and then it's less
okay.
and less and less and less. I've never found, like,
The golden
the
ratio.
golden ratio to it. Don't really
Mhm.
know.
I suppose it's different for everybody, because like
Probably exactly, everybody's different,
mm,
but I think I like it.
okay.
I haven't been using the apple cider vinegar with it though,
Mm.
because Mr. Kinder complains about the smell so much.
Oh, that yeah.
It does stink, like the
Yeah,
with
the
the
vinegar, it's
yeah,
strong.
it's too strong, so I
Mm.
just use water now.
Meh.
I think it does the same. You
You
can't
can mix your
convince
you mix your chlorophyll water with it.
No, drink the chlorophyll. Drink the
Fair enough.
chlorophyll.
Okay.
It doesn't do anything, but it
Mm.
was like a very popular
Mhm.
thing of like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, I remember you said that you did that now. You showed me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have like a big what else do I have? Like a big container of beet powder. It's somewhere in my
Okay.
kitchen. Tastes
But
awful.
that makes more sense to me than chlorophyll, because that's, like, something you can eat. Like, that's, like, a regular food.
It's horrible. Have you ever had a beet?
Not in a long time.
It is like it tastes awful.
I think you can get capsules, can't you? Just, like, a pill, just take it.
Yeah, but
No.
like this is my problem. I like a deal. I like a
Good
deal,
deal. Mhm.
and if you get it in bulk with the with the loose powder, you get a deal. You're miserable because you're like, oh my god, I got so much of this beet
I gotta eat all these
dust. I'm
beets.
gonna eat all this beet dust.
Should put it with, like, berries in a smoothie.
You can't hide it.
Oh, really?
It's like mutton, where like there's still you could like do whatever. See, I don't like lamb because you could do whatever you want, mint jelly, put caramel on it, chocolate sauce, whatever you want to do to lamb. It's still going to. I still am going to taste like the muttony whatever it is of lamb. Like you cannot hide the taste. For beets, it is this like earthy, bitter taste. Like
Mm.
really, like it tastes. Honest to God, if you took a bite of a beet and then you took a bag of potting soil and you just stuck your tongue into the bag of the potting soil, you'd be like, "Did this taste the same?"
Oh, that
Honest to
sounds
God.
so fun.
It's not. I don't think it does anything either for you.
Probably not, like, that much.
No,
I mean, it's like your
probably
vegetable, but
it's probably like, "Oh, it helps a little bit with, like, your heart health."
probably.
But it's like, "Do you really wanna live that long?" I don't know.
Kendra's gonna be to 105.
I'm gonna be just miserable and be like, "Everybody I've known and loved has been dead for 20 plus years, and now I'm"
That's why you gotta get Mr. Kendra to drink your beets with you.
Oh, no, he's, like, eating hot his favorite food is, like, hot dogs. He likes hot dogs, and he likes Pop-Tarts,
Oh,
and he
Pop-Tarts.
likes yeah, he loves Pop-Tarts. Oh, yeah, all the
I mean,
snacks, all the good snacks. He's a
eat 'em while you can.
goner. Goner.
Oh, man, we've been so upbeat in this episode.
We're
Eh,
Scandinavian, Katrina, we're gonna live forever, it's horrible. We're
oh,
Scandinavian
man.
women, we're gonna live forever, and then,
Woo,
like, yeah,
with your beet juice.
Mr. Kendra's English and German and Irish, he's a goner. He's a goner.
Oh,
He's
goodness.
go
Oh, man.